The last and most important game of this thrilling EuroLeague season has been played, with Fenerbahce and Monaco that showed why they belong to this stage. The Turkish side was eager to lift in the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi his second EL trophy, while the team of the Principality was playing in their first EuroLeague final ever. But this final was also a clash of legendary figures in the continent, since both Jasikevicius and Spanoulis have found success in this competition as players and wanted to find it as coaches as well. Their tactical battle has added another layer of excitement to an already spectacular match, and we're now here to dig deep into what the coaches did during the game. One of the reasons why Mike James struggled is because the defense forced him on his weak hand all game long. In addition to that, one Fenerbahce player was always ready to help on a possible drive in these situations. The reason why Guduric is the one helping here is because his defensive assignment is Kalatas, who can be left open from 3. So with this defensive scheme, James has no space. When the Monaco bigs set a screen to make him go right, the Turkish team's defense pushed him left by icing the screen, forcing him to reject it. But James wasn't the only one who had to face this coverage. Here, Theis sets another screen for Strazel's right hand, but Guduric is in denying position, so the French has to attack towards the left side of the floor. He tried to go to his right hand anyway, but obviously that didn't work. So this time he really goes to the left when he's less effective. Okobo is left-handed, so the defense wanted him to go right, and they did it again by icing the screen and making him reject it. This time, Theis does the right thing and punishes Shanley's drop coverage with a pick and pop. So Theis's pops were identified as one way to attack the drop coverage, especially when Shanley was on the floor, since his feet are not as quick as Birch's or Melly's. Another way to do it was setting drag screens, so pick and rolls set in the earliest stage of the transition. Birch has to keep some distance from James, since in this situation the American could attack him downhill. At the same time, if you give the Monaco superstar any kind of space, he's going to punish you. But then Shanley was taken out of the rotation and, as Jasikevicius also did in other recent games, he started to switch on every screen, even with his big men. Look at how Birch stays perfectly in front of James. Birch wasn't the only center capable of limiting James, though. Here, Melly switches on him and forces him to take a contested pull-up. This is another example of effective switching. First, Hayes-Davis gets on Okobo to deny any advantage from this screen. Then Birch does the same with Lloyd. And he does again a great job of staying in front of him. Melly switches onto James to stop Monaco's offensive flow. He successfully does so and doesn't concede any kind of advantage. Then, he even denies any pass back to the American guard. So Monaco decides to exploit the mismatches from the big man's perspective. But Hayes-Davis's help is perfect. So Spanoulis' team tried to utilize the mismatches this way, with an initial success. For example, in this play the team recognizes the Diallo-McCollum mismatch and they space the floor to let him work. Hall is late in the rotation. That's why Diallo is open when he receives. But once the rotations were fixed, post-ups weren't a problem anymore. So here, Monaco plays this pick and roll to have Guduric on Jaite. McCollum is focused on what's happening on the strong side because Coladas isn't an outside threat. Same top of the key pick and roll, this time with Hall instead of Guduric. Initially, there's Baldwin in the helping position because Lloyd is very distant from the ball. So, in case of a pass to him, the former Maccabi player could recover. But once the ball reaches the right side of the floor, Baldwin gets back on Lloyd, while McCollum goes to help. Monaco had a similar defensive philosophy to their opponent, so they switched 1 to 4, with the big man initially in drop. So here, Birch sets a high pick and roll to let Hall attack downhill and generate an open shot. Jaite is too slow to contain Baldwin, so he has to give him space. And when Melli was the screener, they had an effective pick-and-pop option to punish the drop. This is another example of it, this time with an empty side pick-and-pop, so with even more space to shoot. Another smart way to attack the drop coverage was with Spain pick and rolls. So Melli sets a screen for Guduric, while Hayes-Davis does the same for the rollman. This way, Theis can't protect the rim on the Serbians' penetration. But in the fourth quarter, Spanoulis decided to switch even with his centers. So Fenerbahce utilized their usual high pick and roll to put Jaite in a tough position. Daniel Theis was a target for mismatches as well, especially for Guduric. Again, Theis involved in pick-and-roll actions to force the switch against a quicker guard. And the most important shot of the game came from a similar situation too. You can see the Theis-Guduric matchup again with the same result as before. The other side of switching a lot is conceding mismatches to Hayes-Davis, who's a very reliable post-up threat against smaller defenders. Here, the mismatch is created with a Spain pick-and-roll action, with NHD as the third man involved. So he obtains the matchup against the smaller Mike James. Mismatches can also be created in transition, without screens. In this play, Hayes-Davis attacked the side of the court Lloyd was in, so he forced him to pick him up. Then, he exploits his post-up gravity to pass the ball to Baldwin, who made a perfect cut to make the defense collapse. Here, NHD sets a screen to get the mismatch against Okobo. The weak side of the floor is when he looks at, since there's a numerical advantage to exploit there. But let's see how Monaco defended in these situations. In this frame, we can see how Theis is roaming in the paint, ready to help. Hall could have thrown the ball to Guduric, but this isn't an easy pass at all. This is the screen set for generating the mismatch. So the Fenerbahce players are now clearing one side of the court to let NHD operate against Okobo. You can see Jaite roaming in the paint, and no other advantages conceded to the offense. But eventually Jasikevicius found a way to attack Spanoulis' coverage on post-ups. So this is the moment when the mismatch is created. Theis is ready to help, and no other advantage seems to be created. But the defensive focus is on Hayes-Davis, so Baldwin can make a stampede cut to create the advantage the offense needs. This triggers the help by Diallo and creates a passing lane for the open Biberovic. But before the last part of the video, let me remind you that you can find extra content for free. If you click the link in the description to go to my IG page, you'll find exclusive posts about basketball-related topics, everything analyzed with a scientific and original approach. If you like deep breakdowns and proper analysis, you'll love the kind of posts you'll find there. Thank you to everyone who'll decide to follow me there too. Now back to the video. So, Fenerbahce is the 2025 Euroleague champion. Their European season has been amazing, and their playoff run was simply dominant. They've swept Paris, something that they made it look easy, but it wasn't at all. Then they defeated the defending champions, and now they've won against the team that eliminated the #1 seed. Monaco did a terrific job too. Spanoulis might be the next big coach in the European continent, and this team will definitely try to come back stronger at this stage soon. And this was all for today. If you want to support my work, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.